Nice. And we are live. I see a yellow icon.
There we go. All right, finally kicked in. All right, welcome back, everyone. J Bone here for Smash This Podcast. Whew, big night for Smash This Podcast. We are talking some AEW, All Elite Wrestling, Double or Nothing preview and predictions. But I am not alone tonight. I brought a brother from another mother, another podcast, if you will. We've got Charlie from the Two Count. Dude, what is up?
What is up, J Bone? What is up, everyone? How's everyone doing? It's been a while. Just a little bit. What? A couple weeks since I last spoke to you. Actually, maybe months now. I don't know. I'm blurring all together at this point.
It wasn't too long ago, but it's been a bit. It's what do they say? It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. Yeah, it's been a hot minute.
It's what all the youngins say.
Oh man, don't date us. Don't date us.
I'm such an old fart. But hey, your YouTube channel, the Two Count, has been on a bit of a hiatus. Would you like to give the folks out there a little, just a brief rundown? You don't have to get too personal if you don't want, but just what's up with you? Do you think? I shouldn't say. Do you think, or when do you think it'll come back?
So to answer the last question first, July 10th, the Two Count will be back 100% on the air July 10th. I didn't start building this thing to tear it down. I enjoy it. I love chatting wrestling. That was the whole purpose of the Two Count. There's been a couple of life things that have come up. One, I've been promoted at work. Awesome. A lot more responsibility, right? That's fine. Add second piece to the puzzle. Second piece of the puzzle, very easy to understand. I'm actually in the middle of a move. And what that means is that when the Two Count returns, it's going to be returning right in front of my brand new studio, which I am building out in my basement, studio/home office for those that work from home, right in my basement. And the third and quite most comical reason the Two Count is on hiatus is I store all of my files for the show on an external hard drive. I also have a 3-year-old son. I walked away to get a glass of water, and my 3-year-old son smashed this on the floor. So, so in addition to potentially losing every single file since I was 16 years old, I lost all of the files from the Two Count, meaning all of our graphics, everything I used to edit, to put the thumbnails together, the whole kit and caboodle. That said, I will also be getting to Geek Squad and seeing if they could restore that. If not, I'll be creating new graphics, but all of that will be worked out by July 10th. Worst time for me to take a damn break with Double or Nothing coming, so I'm glad that Jay brought me on so that we can talk back and forth about what's going on, but it's been an interesting couple of months to say the least.
Oh yeah, Dan. Life happens. I've raised little ones. Dude, I get it. Yeah, that's crazy. Well, I can't.
I have Pebbles and Bam Bam as children, man. My daughter's this sweet little girl that wanders around. Hey, how are you? My son, bam, bam, everything. What can I do?
Pebbles and Bam Bam. I love the reference. I'm old school. I love the Flintstones. So, dude, a nice update from you. Can't wait a couple months from now or whatever, life allows it. I've had life stuff on here too. I totally get that. Life happens. What are you going to do? So yeah, AEW Double or Nothing. Just a brief overview, dude. How excited are you for this show coming up this Saturday?
Oh my Lord. I'm ridiculously excited. I mean, I've been watching wrestling for, God, I was 3 years old, so 31 years now, right? And ever since WCW died, I almost feel like I've been a zombie at the wheel. I mean, there were some good points in the Ruthless Aggression era, don't get me wrong, and the Attitude Era was great. But once wrestling became a monopoly, you kind of could see this coming. As someone in advertising, I have a really unique perspective about how the business works. And basically, once there was no competition left, Vince McMahon just needed to create a product that catered to his sponsors, not a product that catered to his fans. So the reason I'm excited for Double or Nothing is about 3 years ago, I stumbled upon the Elite. I was always a Cody Rhodes fan since he started in WWE. I was pulling for him in that Money in the Bank match with Sandow. I thought that was the moment to make this guy, speaking of Money in the Bank and ridiculous garbage outcomes, we get another one. But that was the moment to really make this guy. They don't do it. They saddle him with Stardust, nails every opportunity they give him. He leaves. And honestly, that was the biggest mistake Vince McMahon ever made in his life. Now that you look back at it, because I think he created someone that's really going to come up and compete against them big time. I'm excited as a wrestling fan. I'm excited because we're taking back the damn industry now. That's it. This is what AEW means to me. Look, I've got more AEW merch than any person on the planet at this point. I'm missing 2 shirts. I'm going all in, trying to get everything to help support these guys. But in reality, the reason I'm trying to help support these guys, because at the end of the day, we've suffered through enough garbage. It's over. It's done. I don't know if you saw my tweet the other day, Jay, but I literally posted a middle finger at Vince McMahon and was like, your reign of terror is over. Right? That's it. It's done. It's over.
I hear you, man. I mean, they've done some crazy stuff lately. I take some of it and some of it I shove back, but yeah, it's to each their own, I've been very critical over the last year of their stuff, and I'm super excited for this. But yeah, this is history, man, and TNT's taking the show this fall. We don't have a date yet, but
Jay, I'm not going to say anything here, but there were a couple people about 4 months ago that were like the deals with TNT, and everybody was like, they're a t-shirt company. They're a t-shirt company. Saying it right now, Jay, your boy Charlie, we were calling this stuff 4 or 5 months ago. I'm just putting it out there. Just, you can take it as you will. We called it.
Oh yeah. There were a couple of little things floating around out there. People start, look back last year when the rumors started about this company.
Yep.
How crazy was that? I read the headline that Jim Ross and Chris Jericho were going to be working for a company run by Tony Khan at the time. I don't think wrestling fans knew who the hell Tony Khan was.
No.
They do now.
Realistically, who knew who Tony Khan was? Never mind wrestling fans, right? If you asked anyone, the owner, it was Shad Khan. No one knew who Tony was. Tony was the guy behind the scenes. Now Tony thrusted himself to the forefront, and it's pretty amazing. It's also great. I don't know if you heard his story or his backstory on his love for professional wrestling. Like, such an unclassical background of someone that was watching wrestling, just sitting there trying to find and trade for tapes because his parents didn't really like him watching wrestling. It's really an amazing story of how he came to be a wrestling fan. And that's something you have to remember too. Vince McMahon, Ted Turner, right? Even if we're looking WCW, WWE was created by a promoter's son. Vince McMahon was Vincent Kennedy McMahon, whatever his father's initials were, son. Yeah. Was he a fan? Maybe, but it's not the same, right? Tony Khan didn't need to get into this. He got into this because he wanted to get into this because he loves pro wrestling. And I think that's going to show in the product.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, it's just, I'm just excited for something different, and there's going to be there's going to be growing pains. That not everything is going to come off perfect. I mean, a lot of these guys that are coming on here they're not used to TV, and that's honestly one thing they do teach in NXT is how to get prepared for TV, camera angles, all that kind of stuff.
Well, again, Vince is messing up though, bud. Look at all the people he's cutting. Arn Anderson, Billy Gunn, guys that have been training the people in NXT are now going to AEW to train them.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, they're going to have a whole different kind of talent running the show backstage. They're not going to have Hollywood writers. No. They're going to have professional professional wrestlers slash former professional wrestlers who have an ear to the ground and an eye on the biz at the same time and know what's going on and know at least have a better idea. I think, like I said, nothing's going to be perfect, but they got a better idea of what the fans want. So,
Exactly. I mean, it started as a fan movement. Realistically, that's what the elite is. It's a movement by the fans.
yeah. And a horrible $1 bet that Meltzer
Well
lost.
done, Dave. Well done, Dave. Well done, Dave. What's up, Ruben? Just looking at the chat.
Yeah, Ruben's in the chat. Critical Sting's in the chat. We got a few viewers. This is nice. Well, let's keep this going. Let's jump into the card of Double or Nothing coming up this Saturday.
Critical Sting, I do agree. There will be a few super kicks thrown during the Bucks and Luther match.
just a few. And from what the looks of it, of the most recent being the elite episodes of the Young Bucks, maybe shaking off just a tiny bit of ring rust. It looks like they're working on a few new moves for the ring too. I'm kind of excited for that.
Yeah, they are. Guess they can't get away with the Meltzer driver forever.
Yeah, this is true. You're gonna have to trademark that at some point, and then start, throwing money Dave Meltzer's way. So yeah, let's jump in this card. It's going on this Saturday. The pre-show. Let's talk about the pre-show first. There's 2 matches slated. And it's always card subject to change. And we're already seeing that within the last hour / 24 hours, and we'll get into all the stuff. But first of all, we got a singles match, and I'm actually very excited about this. Kip Sabian against Sammy Guevara. Your thoughts on this match, dude?
So I'm going to be 100% upfront that I haven't seen much of Kip Sabian. I've watched a few videos of him. I've seen some of the moves he's done. Very impressive. To me, the clear-cut winner here, though, is Sammy Guevara. You don't feature a talent the way that they've featured Sammy Guevara on Being the Elite week after week after week and not have him win in his debut match. They plucked him from Mexico when he was the AAA Cruiserweight champion, right? This is a guy who's wrestled Cody. This is a guy who's wrestled on the independents. He's wrestled with a lot of guys on the roster. He is a young, shining star. He's got charisma, and we'll get to MJF and other people like that. But I think, the elite are the top guys now. They know that, but they also know that they need to build guys up, Hangman Page being one of them. Another one of those guys is going to be Sammy Guevara.
Absolutely. Sammy is one of my favorites right now. I watch his vlogs all the time. And I know some people don't like him. They think he's an asshole. They think he's snarky as hell. I think it's just building a character. He is kind of heelish depending on where he goes.
But it's funny how they're playing on that in BTE, because they're like, he's a heel, but he's actually a nice guy, right?
Yeah.
They're actually playing that up, which they tend to do a whole lot. I really like it.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting what they do with Kip Sabian. I'm actually really excited to see Kip. I have not seen him in a few years. There's a handful of people that I really started to watch on a regular basis and love, thanks to, and I go back to this every once in a while, Flow Slam. I watched events on Flow Slam. It's in its inaugural and only year. It was all the WWN events along with a decent amount of international stuff that they had on there. House of Hardcore started on there at one point a few years ago. They had stuff. A little show called Lucha Forever was kind of a Lucha Libre show run by Will Ospreay, I think, over in the UK. Featured guys like Kip Sabian and Helico Jack Evans were on there. Will Ospreay, of course. Callahan was over there. So many names. Became a fan of Viper, who is now in the NXT UK. So it's really interesting watching, so many of these people that I grew to love watching Flow Slam. And now a couple years later, 2 to 3 years later, the industry has changed so much, and
A
all
lot.
these people have like big time jobs now. It's crazy. Um, and some of these names, like I said, we don't know if they're under contract for this event or several going forward. I have not heard any of those details. I'm
I,
sure Sammy's in for the
Sammy,
long haul.
I think Sammy's in for the long haul. Honestly, I think a lot of the bigger guys are the ones you have to wonder about their contracts. I think some of these younger guys that are getting a shot, the Brandon Cutlers, the guys like that. I think, well, Brandon's not that young, but I think some of these guys that are getting contracts, I think they're long term contracts. I think the difference between the way it's structured with AEW and WWE is WWE wants to own their life, AEW does not. So you could see that AEW is doing this like invading the indies angle. That's never going to go away. They're always going to allow their wrestlers to take independent bookings. So I honestly think, Jay, you're looking at a totally different ecosystem where these guys are getting paid 200-300 to work for AEW, but then they're also making 200-300 in bookings a year on the side of AEW.
Yeah, that could very well be. But nonetheless, we got Kip Sabian,
Yep.
again, Sammy Guevara. Who do you think takes this?
It's 100% Sammy Guevara. Like I said, you don't invest that much time in build-up of an individual to have them lose.
You think so? Yeah, and
Second, they gave Kip like one talking point during a Double or Nothing, Road to Double or Nothing episode, and Sammy's literally on every episode of Being the Elite.
this is true. This is very true. And I feel a little bad for Kip in that sense, but you know what? I gotta pick my boy Sammy.
But let's be real about it too, right? The great thing about this event is I understand wins and losses are going to matter with AEW, which is great.
Yeah.
But also, all that matters with this first event is that they knock it out of the park. So
exactly.
If both guys put on a fantastic, and look, they're putting these two guys in the free hour. They realize what they're doing. They're trying to get people to subscribe for the pay-per-view. This match is going to tear the house down.
These guys are getting the MJF Matt Cross match from All In, and that was like the first one. So I mean, that's still pretty freaking cool. The fact that both of these guys originally were in the Over the Top Battle Royal.
Yep.
And they gave them their own match. So that's pretty damn special. Especially with all, like you said, all the attention they've been giving.
And I haven't decided what I'm wearing Sunday yet. I might be rocking that Panda tee. It might just happen. It might.
Oh, you got Sammy's tee?
I have all but two. Yeah. I got Sammy's.
Sammy's the Panda fam. That's pretty awesome. Do you watch his vlogs?
I've caught a couple of them. Yeah. I'm not as religiously as BTE, but time-wise. But I definitely want to check out more of them, but I've seen at least like 4 or 5 of them. He's great.
You gotta watch them. They're really good. They're inspirational too, because he always, well, I shouldn't say always, but a lot of times he'll throw in some like real life talk instead of just entertainment stuff. So it's pretty cool. All right. Also on the pre-show, we got the Casino Battle Royal, formerly the Over the Top. No, excuse me. What do they call it? Over the Budget Battle Royal.
Battle Royal. Yeah, I like the branding on it. I definitely do. And if Double or Nothing is going to be an annual pay-per-view with this as part of it, I think it is amazing branding behind it. This is going to be a fun one to talk about, Jay. What do you think of the format overall? I mean,
they're given a whole new spin, which I think is really cool on a battle royal, because usually you just throw everybody in the ring and go at it. They're kind of mixing this with almost like a Royal Rumble type match. And I try not to compare to the WWE, but what else do we have, right?
Yeah.
So they're given a card and they link it up with a suit. And so 5 people from that suit, whether it be clubs, diamonds, whatever the hell, I'm not a card player. The 4 suits.
Spades, hearts. You almost had it.
Yeah. Whatever your suit is, that group of 4 or 5, whatever it is going to go all in at once, all in, and and they're all gonna, duke it out. And then like a few minutes, 5 minutes after that, they're gonna send the next suit in. So
it's a spurt Royal Rumble almost, right? If you think
it is.
yeah.
It is, and I like it. It's a little different, and it's tied to the whole, casino / Vegas,
We were just
ideals.
talking about that before the show. The way that they're delivering the card drawings on social media is pretty impressive.
Tonight, yeah, they just started that within the last few hours, and giving little previews to who's in the Casino Battle Royal. They did Glacier, which actually was really cool.
That was awesome. Yeah, they did Glacier. They did someone we're going to talk about in a minute. There was another guy they did too. Sunny
Days.
They did Sunny Days. Yep.
That's a guy who they picked as I think it was a kind of a fan who always wanted to become a wrestler.
He was an indie wrestler, but he was a fan that always wanted to be a wrestler. He's got a great backstory. He apparently plays this like lunatic type character. Guys, watch the promos of them drawing the cards. It's reminiscent eerily of like somewhere in between Bray Wyatt and Sting in that promo, with just like the flashing in and out and the way that they structured it.
The graphics are great.
The graphics are amazing. The way that they're doing this whole thing is well done. We haven't seen anybody's number except one particular number. Should we get to that right now, Jay?
Hell yeah, dude. Someone who's making his debut for AEW in the Casino Battle Royal, who I think we kind of knew he was going to show up. It was just a matter of when. Well, now we know.
And let me just say, I'm incredibly happy for this guy because I think he deserves this shot. I really do. I don't think that the place that he was at before, because I'm not saying the name of it yet, gave him the proper opportunity. And if you're going to compare him to anybody, and you're going to think this is crazy, you're going to compare him to Pac. Similar status. He had a great run with I'll just say it, had a great run with NXT, got called up to the main roster, never fulfilled his potential on the main roster because they didn't let him. And boom, he's released. Ladies and gentlemen, Jay, do you want to do it? You want me to do it? Because you know I'm going to do.
Go ahead.
Tye Dillinger, a.k.a. Shawn Spears. I posted on Instagram a few minutes ago. What was it? I said he went from the Perfect 10 to out for revenge. Joining the Casino Battle Royale, it is Shawn Spears. And it was an awesome segment.
It was cool. And he flashed a 10.
He flashed the 10 of diamonds.
The 10 of diamonds. So we know he has the diamond suit. So at least I think we can assume that he'll come out with that group. I have no clue who,
He'll be in the diamonds group. There's one thing you left out about the drawings though, too. There is a Joker's card.
Yes. Yeah, and that one gets the last entrant.
It's like drawing 30 in the Battle Royal. Now, AEW can play this very, very well. We now know that Shawn Spears is in this.
Yeah.
There is 3 names that are hovering over this event like a cloud. And the question is that position one of those 3 names? And we'll talk more about them later, but just addressing it, remember that the winner of this Battle Royal gets the first AEW title shot. Okay?
Yeah, he gets. It said on the advertisement. It says they get a shot at the AEW championship. Yeah,
right.
So, but we still don't know when that's going to be decided. But somewhere in the future. Yeah,
probably going to be Kenny Omega. But I mean,
could be a number of big names, honestly.
Omega would make the most sense to me, and we'll get to that too.
Yeah.
When we talk about a certain bastard. But the 3 names that are hovering over this event are Jake Hager, Jon Moxley, and CM Punk. Everyone's expecting one of those 3 people. Now, there's 2 spots that are mysteries where one of those 2 people could show up, and there's also the run-in possibility, right? One of them is in this Joker spot. But if I am AEW and I'm having my first title defense, I'm going to want someone in that match that's going to call a lot of attention to it. So to me, that Joker spot is either going to be John Moxley or CM Punk.
It could very well be, and then have them interfere or something in a future event or something. Who knows what they're going to do. I mean, it's really all up in the air. Let's run over this list of names.
Yep.
And I got this off of Wikipedia, and I don't like using Wikipedia, but that was the quickest way that I could see
necessary for this. It's changing so often. You have to.
Yeah, so it's just what I quick picked. So so we got Sonny Kiss, Brandon Cutler.
By the way, Sonny Kiss, guys, you haven't seen him. He wrestles around the corner from me. Very flamboyant, further than Juice Robinson, but awesome wrestler.
Oh yeah. Brandon Cutler, who we saw just got a legit contract in the latest Being the Elite.
Brought a tear to my eye. It did.
Oh, dude, I was choked up too, man. I'm not gonna lie. That was a nice story. That's it's nice to see hard work. What are the classics saying? Hard work pays off.
You like to see someone get a shot that deserves it. He deserves it.
Yeah, and I think he's going to be multitasking in the company.
Yep.
So even if he doesn't become like the biggest star per se, he's still going to be working close with the Bucks production wise and other stuff. So
he's been producing BEE the whole time. They wanted him there.
Right. And his wife makes a ton of their in-ring outfits, I guess.
Yep.
Pretty exciting. So not a bad family deal there. We've got Ace Romero. AC, baby.
Oh, he's going to be he's taking some people out. That's for shit sure. I'm anticipating that one scene where about 15 people try to throw him out and he knocks all 15 of them down at once in some way, shape, or form. That's my dude.
I want to see him pounce. Don't get me wrong. I love MJF. He's one of my favorite up-and-comers in the industry right now. The guy is golden beyond his time. Yeah. But I want to see Ace Romero pounce the shit out of MJF.
Yeah, but that's the reason you love MJF. You hate him so damn much. So if you watch him get pounced, it's like glorious. No pun intended, Mr. Robert Root. But it's oh, that porn mustache is horrible. Anyway.
True.
But yeah, listen, anybody that punches MJF in the face is cool with me. And it's just the way it is.
It's family.
Yeah. I'm from Staten Island. We just do these things.
Right. All right, so AC Baby's in there. We love AC. Glacier, a classic name back from the old WCW days.
It's kind of funny.
It is, and we know that he's close with the Rhodes family.
Yep.
He's in that Rhodes circle that we saw during the videos leading up to All In. So it's really no surprise that they gave him at least a shot at this, and who knows where he'll go with this going forward. Maybe
I feel bad for him, honestly. It's like being stuck with Isaac Yankem DDS as your gimmick for your whole life. Like, he's awesome. I love Glacier. I was a Mortal Kombat fan, but I'm sorry to segue. It's just these are funny. Keep going.
I was at a recent House of Hardcore event at the same place where MLW is debuting in a few weeks in Waukesha, about 10 minutes from here. And they had Duke the Dumpster Drozy.
Nice.
And I was sitting in the bleachers and I'm looking at all the tables set up around the place, and everyone's getting kids and people and pictures and everyone. And Duke the Dumpster Drozy is sitting there with his garbage can at a big table all by himself. No one. He was like the Virgil of the place. I felt so bad for him. But that was from a time in wrestling that I wasn't watching it. It was that gimmick era in the 90s,
Yeah.
And I felt so bad for him. I was like, oh.
I felt that way for Cheeseburger when I went to an ROH event. Poor guy.
Cheeseburger. I don't get it. I don't know.
He needs to eat a cheeseburger. It's
Yeah, you need several. Jackson Parker up the top rope. What is up? Thanks for joining the chat this evening in this AEW video. Let's go on with this list. I want to spend too much time on the pre-show, but we'll still run down these names.
It's just amazing to reminisce as we run through them.
Yeah. Brian Pillman Jr., very excited to see him. I mean, he's been locked in with MLW, so it's very interesting that he's a part of this.
I wonder if MLW has exclusives, because I don't think they do. Because MJF is too.
I don't know. It's hard to say. Yeah, that's true. MJF is a part of that. Yeah.
On AEW, I'm trying to get the New Heart Foundation for my show immediately. Brian Pillman is an amazing stepping stone to that. I love him. I think the kid's got so much potential in the industry. And I'm looking forward to seeing him grow as part of AEW, because I think he could be one of their next future stars.
Could be, yeah. We'll see what's going on with him sooner than later, eh? Sunny Days, we talked about him a little bit. MJF is in this. Oh, everybody's gonna be nailing that guy. Joey Janela.
I'm kind of surprised he's in the Battle Royal. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of hardcore names in here. We got Jimmy Havoc in here too. I mean, the card is pretty stacked. So just at least to feature, names and get them in there.
I get it, but this guy went from a mid-card match with Hangman to the bout. Like, most of the people took a step forward. They gave Janela a step back. I love Joey Janela. That's why I just would have liked to seen him in a feature match. But there's always time. We got weekly TVs coming, so.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of time for this company to feature different people in different matches and rivalries. The company's just going to grow. Let's just hope it doesn't grow too much out of control. Yeah. We got Dustin Thomas. Some of these names I'm not familiar with. I think some of them are featured in Being the Elite, but I can't remember who was who. Billy Gunn, of course.
I love that he just put himself in it, but they needed the legend, so it made sense.
Oh, yeah. Well, and the guy's in the best shape of his life, for crying out loud.
And shout out to Paula Sop, his wife, who sent me something awesome in the mail, a signed micro brawler by him. Thank you, Paula Sop. You rock.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
Jimmy Havoc, we mentioned that. Another hardcore icon.
Yeah. Which is why Moxley also fits in that battle royal. Could you imagine a scene in the ring with Moxley, Havoc, and Janela staring each other down?
Oh, that'd be just batshit crazy.
I know.
Crazy. Michael Nakazawa. the rage of
Call it now. Michael Nakazawa gets an 8-second elimination.
It could be. I mean, his name is bigger than his wrestling history, I think, right now. It's kind of funny.
They've brained it into our brain.
Thanks to the Young Bucks.
Yep.
We got Jungle Boy.
Excited for him.
Yeah, very excited. This kid needs some positive reinforcement in his life after losing his father just a short time ago. So,
and he's talented as all hell. Watch him in the ring, guy's amazing.
Yeah, look him up on YouTube. Like I say to everyone, it's like if you don't know someone and you're curious about what they're like in the ring, YouTube it. I guarantee you it's out there. And yeah, I mean, he's young, but he's got a fun little gimmick, and he's going to shine. Isaiah Cassidy. Not familiar with that one.
Is he part of the tag team?
I don't know. Oh, is he?
The main event? No, the VIP. I forget the name of it. I've watched some of their stuff. They're awesome. I just can't remember.
Oh, Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn. Are they the Private Party?
I think they. Let me just check. I'm going to Google that real quick while we're talking.
Okay.
I have a feeling I don't know the Private Party Wrestling I'm going to throw in there.
Well, that's one of the new tag teams. That
is absolutely Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy. Yep.
Okay, so it is Private Party. Okay.
They do some stuff together. Whew.
Yeah. They when they said that they hired him, they put a little highlight reel together from HOG.
Yeah, and I went and looked up some of that stuff too. I gotta send it to you, Jay. They're good.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of it. But yeah, just they're like just a younger, hotter version of the Young Bucks, because the Young Bucks have, it's hard to think. It's like, yeah, they're still young, but they've been doing this for 10 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is like the next coming of the Young Bucks. It's pretty exciting. These guys are crazy. They're doing stuff I've never seen before. Luchasaurus.
That was awesome. Yeah.
Pretty stoked to see him.
How about him talking too? That was pretty awesome.
Most recently seen in Impact Wrestling, had a bit part. I think he had an explosion match, and he also had a bit part in the Undead Realm storyline. He was in there for a cup of coffee, barely. But
of Impact Wrestling, Jay, I got a question for you. Not as a because I know you could talk about Impact for a long time.
All day and all night.
Killer Cross opted out of his contract, and there's a lot of spots in this Battle Royal still open. Could you see Killer Cross or Eli Drake in this Battle Royal?
I could see Eli Drake. I don't think Killer Cross is going anywhere. I wouldn't entertain too much of that stuff that I read in the sheets, honestly.
But his girlfriend opted out too, right? Scarlett opted out also.
I heard she requested her release as well. And they're quite the tandem, especially in AAA. And
connection.
I hope they stick it out, stay professional and stick it out, because I think as good as I know they are, and this is one thing that I said to Trent from the Total Nonstop Impact podcast: know your worth, build your brand, stick out the contract, make a name for yourself in Impact Wrestling so that more people know about you. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's just a matter of time that they'll go to a bigger place, and Impact Wrestling is growing. I think it's a great place for them to build their brand and to support an up and coming company, because it's, rising out of the ashes of TNA. Yeah, I think he's not saying anything negative on social media. Neither is she. That's why I'm kind of, I don't know if I believe everything.
All right, I had to ask. Oh, and by the way, Jackson Parker, my answer to you is yes, $50 is expensive. I get it. I also did have the opportunity to sit front row at Double or Nothing as a guest of a certain T-shirt company, not the one we were speaking to. I would have had to pay for the tickets. The tickets would have been double that price or triple that price. It's about supporting them at this point, man. Later on, I'm sure the pay-per-view rates will drop down, the prices will drop down. But right now, it's all about supporting them. Sorry, J-Bone. Let's keep going with the Battle Royal. I wanted to answer that question.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, I mean, I can't. I'm kicking myself because I paid for Impact's what the hell was the last one? Rebellion. I paid for Rebellion, and I'm like, I should have bought this one, but whatever. I'm still a fan. I'm still supporting them. I'm still, doing this.
And look, you'll find a way to find out what's going on. You'll find a way. I'm sure it'll drop in price after a couple of days on reruns and things like that. So I wouldn't be too concerned about it.
Oh yeah.
But if you can, support them.
Oh yeah. Always. Cover that Luchasaurus. So, and at the time I looked at this list, there was 5 more slots open, but now there's 4, because when we talked about this, Shawn Spears is in the Casino Battle Royal.
Critical Sting, is that confirmed?
Matt Sydal, last I heard, is injured.
Why is he saying all elite?
I don't know. Did you?
I think it might be worth me quickly looking at Twitter on my phone.
Oh, he said no, just wondering.
Yeah, throwing me off on tangents, man. No. I don't know. I think it's very possible. Remember, he wrestled along the same times as Cody in WWE. This is something you have to remember. Like Jack Swagger, all these guys that we're talking about were in there with Cody.
Yeah, they're from a certain timeline in wrestling.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, so there's 4 more slots that we don't know about. And
Is that
like you
including
said,
the Joker? Is that including the Joker card?
that
Or
no,
is
you
it
know what? I don't think it does because actually the Joker card makes it 21.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 4. Okay, so 4 more does make it 21.
Okay. So we got 4 more spots.
Yeah. Yeah, including the
Okay.
Joker. All right, on to the main. Well, I think it's really I really can't pick a winner for this one. It's really hard. I mean, we can if you want.
We can go. We could do the Booker T, Shucky Ducky, Quack Quack. Yeah, we could. We could do our fave fives for the battle royale. Daniel Bryan's got to be number 1. No, we we've got. I would say I'm going to put this at 3 or 4 that I would lean towards. Whoever that Joker is has a really good shot of winning, not just based on positioning, based on the way that they're building it out. So if it's Moxley, if it's Punk, if it's Hager, all those guys would definitely be worth a shot at the championship. So 100% could be one of them. I would say there's a good chance it could be MJF. They've been building him up for quite some time now.
Yeah.
Giving MJF a title shot down the line, I don't think he's big enough for it yet. But based on all the names in the Battle Royal and all of the exposure, MJF definitely could be a guy. I would say another one to look out for would potentially be Joey Janela, who they've already shown that they'll put into a singles match. And hey, it could be Shawn Spears. I mean, that's a big one for them.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's tough. I mean, there's a few names in here that certainly stand out among the others. Shawn Spears, Joey, Jimmy Havoc. I wouldn't put Billy Gunn in there. I think that's just more fun.
He's there to help get the guys over. I honestly think he's going to be the ring general. Him and Glacier are going to be in there like, okay, guys, you do this. You got a lot of young kids not used to TV. You got those 2 guys in the ring to be like, look that way. They're filming you that way.
Yeah. Well, if you look at how the Battle Royal went at All In, that was insane, and that came off incredible.
Yep, it did. At the same time, though, you did have a lot more people that were used to TV at that point because they were partnering with Impact and ROH on that event and New Japan on that event versus
That's true.
All indie. This is literally the elite plus a few guys they were able to grab that were under a contract, and then guys that they were literally just picking up from the wrestling in small little venues.
Yeah, this is true.
So that's it for the Battle Royal, I think. I think we can both agree the names I threw out are probably the most likely. I don't think there's much more to say.
I feel like I'm missing a significant name here, and I say significant because we've seen the promo, but I don't see him on the card.
Who are you talking to?
Darby Allin.
Maybe he's in the Battle Royal. Could be.
It could be a surprise.
It could be a surprise in the Battle Royal, or it could be a situation like Bea Priestley, where they're saving him for Fyter Fest,
a later date,
or Revenge, or Fight for the Fallen. So like Bea Priestley and Allie are going to debut at Fight for the Fallen, right? There's only so many people they could work into one card, and if there's one thing that Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, Cody are good at doing, it's like leaving we talked about it a couple months back. It's the trail of potato chips, right? They drop one, they walk 10 feet, they drop another potato chip, and you're like, you can't have just one. So I think that they're doing that over the long haul when it comes to their booking.
Yeah, true. So yeah, but nonetheless, I am very stoked to see
Yep.
Darby Allin because I think that guy is just like in his promo. He's gonna blaze a trail.
Oh,
Totally.
yeah.
All right, on to the main card. So we saw a match already from AEW that
Yeah,
was was scheduled for Double or Nothing, but
Bastard. That bastard.
that bastard, bastard Pac.
He's so good at that, though. Come on. He's so much better as Pac than he was as Neville. It's ridiculous.
It is. It is. He's creepy and yet insanely charismatic.
Yep.
I mean, we saw a tale of that towards the end of his WWE days, but yeah, he's in another headspace now completely.
Hangman that he was going to leave his asshole flapping in the wind. Come on.
Yeah, that's oof.
He's a crazy guy.
He is. So they already had the match over in the UK at Wrestle Pro. Where was it?
So there's two parts to talk about this, Jay. It was Wrestle. I think it was Wrestle Pro. Yeah.
Oh, there's something. Yeah, I'm not real.
WrestleGate. I want to say WrestleGate.
That's it. Yeah.
There's two parts to this, though. There's the actual thing that happened, and then there's the things behind the scenes. Because I think the way that they played it off between being the Elite, by the way, which now owns one of my favorite lines ever from a promo. Hangman dropping the VCR tape into his desk, it loading up on the screen. Cody telling him he's been full gear ready the whole time, unzipping his jacket and going, "What is this, Hangman? A fucking horse. It's a horse. It's a fucking horse." And then he's driving. Out of nowhere, he screams, "I'm a fucking horse!" And he gets on the plane. It was amazing. The build-up that they put to that, and then the actual follow-up with the match. From a delivery standpoint, guys, that's why I love AEW. I mean, literally, it was so seamless and so beautifully done. They made the best they could out of a pretty shitty situation.
Yeah, and I don't think we know the whole story. I mean, they put stuff out on social media and the dirt sheets and whatnot as far as what's going on, why it was canceled, creative differences or whatever, but we're not going to be privy to the whole conversation unless Cody or someone comes out on social media and says, okay, here's what happened. Here's the situation. I don't think we're going to get that. I don't think we need that, but it does suck that we didn't get this at the actual event and that Pac isn't coming.
Did you hear? I've been following the news a lot today just to kind of see. I've been randomly Googling and looking to see if there's anything about it. So this is all alleged. Take it with a grain of salt. I'm not 100% sure if it's positive or not. It is not confirmed by any major source. It wasn't about the Hangman match. So everything that I'm reading was they laid out a long-term booking plan for Pac, which is why it came out so late, right? At first, they were just focused on Double or Nothing. At Double or Nothing, Pac was supposed to go over Hangman Page. Bar none. Hangman was losing the match.
Okay.
What had happened was when they started to lay out the match, they have all planned and agreed that the more established talent is going to win some and lose some to put over the younger talent. I had said to you earlier, I think Kenny Omega is going to be the first champion. I'm going to tell you why right now. This is part of it. I think Kenny Omega, well, actually, I can't say part of it. So Kenny Omega's next match was going to be against Pac at Fyter Fest, right? So it was going to be, he was up against Hangman, he was up against Omega.
Okay.
They need to establish right now that Omega is a star to the mainstream television audience. Because as much as we all know Omega and we love Omega, the casual WWE fan has no idea who Omega is. So you put Omega against the Jericho, you put Omega against the Neville or a Pac, and you put him against established stars so that they can start to familiarize themselves with who he is. The long-term booking plan was to beat Hangman, to lose to Omega. Omega is very established in Japan. No secret there, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Aaron. You put. I'm sure he would.
Right.
You put Hangman. What do you call it? So you put him in this match versus Pac. You put him in a match where Pac is the undefeated Dragon Gate champion, right? Hasn't lost in a year, and now he's going to lose to Omega, a guy the Japanese people are very familiar with.
Yeah.
That is why he said, I need to be done with AEW at least till I'm done with Dragon Gate. That's the scenario that I've heard that occurred over the course of, a couple of weeks while they were laying out his post-match plans. Now, why they didn't shift the plans and maybe put him in programs with Janela and things like that to build him up, I don't know. Maybe they have other plans for them. But as far as I know, it was that Pac did not want to lose to Omega.
Yeah, I mean, and I get it from a guy who's trying to build his worth in the indies again, like Pac. It sucks for the fans, but I'm not gonna hate on Pac for doing it. I get it.
Yep.
Cards subject to change. It happens, I think some people are blowing this way out of proportion. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that we are going to see Pac again. Pac is still all over the advertising. We could see him there. This could all be just
a work.
It could be. It could be
something that Pac is very, very, very good friends with the Young Bucks. So this isn't like just some dude that they randomly contracted. This is a guy that they've been friends with for 88 years. A guy that they've literally, traveled and toured with. They have pictures of together when they were like 14 years old, like not 14, but very, very young. So I think it'll work itself out. I think Pac will be back with AEW at some point down the road. My bigger question here is what happens with Hangman Page now that this is over.
Yeah, that is going to be interesting. Do they just like bring in a surprise name and have him face Adam Page? Does Adam Page come out for Double or Nothing and do like an open challenge, like a full gear challenge or something? And then we get CM Punk. No, I don't know.
Or people are saying that, or do they play off the injury angle?
Yeah, that could be. That could be because I mean he really I didn't watch the whole thing till the absolute very end, but I saw him tear up Adam Page's leg, and that could have been part of the
put his ankle in a chair and slam the chair on it. So Hangman may just come out or do like commentary or come out with the crutches and all of that stuff. Who knows?
And then interfere in another match. Who knows?
Yeah. Look, I personally like to see Hangman Page on the card. I do think he is a future AEW champion.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know how they make best of this situation, given everything that's happened. I think it might
there's options. I mean, they certainly have a multitude of options.
You're in the Battle Royal.
Yeah, that's true. And honestly, if they do throw him in there and he does win it, then it's the best of both worlds.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That is a really good point. Critical Sting. I like it a whole lot. Joey Ryan would be the perfect person to come out for a Hangman Page Open Challenge.
All in. Absolutely. Not bad. I have to remember that one. We'll see what happens. I don't know if we're going to get the well, it is going to be TV 14. We might get the Fluids or the Druids. I mean, whatever,
Yeah. You might. You definitely. Maybe there'll be lollipops now.
Oh my God. Adam Page is buried underneath a pile of dicks.
I think they're only allowed to curse a certain number of times per show. That might take all of them in one segment.
Oh. My favorite is still, is that a hair on that lollipop? Matt Stryker losing his mind during Lucha Underground stuff.
Oh.
rest in penis chant. Oh, dude, don't even get me started on the rest in penis chant. I took my son to All In, and my son, who was 12, my son, who was 12 at the time, is screaming "Rest in penis," and I just like I filmed it. I took the phone and then filmed him screaming it, and then filmed myself going, "Where have I gone wrong?"
Hey, Daddy, can you buy me a penis taker shirt?
Who's your favorite wrestler, son? Joey Ryan.
No, it would be better if he was like famous dick wrestler Joey Ryan. Oh.
And then I send him home to his mother, and I get a lovely phone call. No, I don't want to.
What are you doing with our son?
Exactly. No more going over to Daddy's house. All right, so yeah, that's up in the window with Adam Page.
Disappointing, yes, but look, if they give some of those other matches a little bit more time, and it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, we'll see what they do. We'll find out in a few days, actually. So,
what's up next, my friend?
We got SCU with Daniels, Kaz, and Sky. Just abbreviate everything in my notes here. Daniels, Kaz, and Sky versus the Strong Hearts.
Yep.
Guys from OWE. Sema, T-Hawk, and L. Lindemann.
So I'm going to give AEW the benefit of the doubt here. I'd normally, if this was WWE, SCU would be going over. More established guys beating up on the new guys, just the way it works. Vince McMahon's bulliest mentality. I think that the Elite is going to want to showcase the Strong Hearts. And I think OWE is actually going to take this home for China.
I have absolutely no doubt. I was thinking the same thing as I was jotting stuff down here. Yeah, because we've seen SCU and they feature them all the time. And even though we could use the same argument as we did for Sammy, I think the smart way is if you are going to feature guys in this partnership from OWE, yeah, I think it'd be cool to have them go over. And I'm super stoked for this. The level of tag team wrestling in this company is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. Next level. That's why I want the revival. I keep posting on social media, and I'm hoping WWE catches me at some point. I just literally keep typing "Let my people go."
Let my people go.
I want the revival out. I want Mercedes CV. Which is Sasha Banks for all those who don't know. I want Mercedes CV. I want FTR. I want Brody Lee. Get me all these guys rolling over to AEW now. Let my people go.
Yeah.
The Rascals are a part of the Strong Hearts, right?
Rascals part of the Stronger. Oh yeah, I've seen like clips of OWE. I
think three we're watching are Chima, T-Hawk, and there's another one too. Those are the three that are coming up as the Strong Hearts.
Lindemann, yeah. And I don't know enough about OWE and their stables and their roster to like really, say enough about it. But I know that the Rascals have done a tour over there for OWE and I guess they were part of the Strong Hearts. So that made me think that they might actually jump in the show, but I know they're also wrestling for Impact Wrestling. I have no idea what kind of contracts they have. So I don't want to, assume or deny or guess or whatever, but nonetheless, we're going to slowly over time become more familiar with, some of the main stars from OWE.
And if you guys are interested in learning more about wrestling in Asia, I had a very wonderful man on my show who is very deeply ingrained in the Asian market. It's the last episode on the channel right now before hiatus. His name is Sean Clement, former U.S. Army veteran. He gives us a really nice breakdown of wrestling in Asia and China, so go check it out.
It is a good video. I was watching that earlier today because I was like, man, what's the 2 Counts last video? So I was
I
rewatching
haven't
it
even
again.
doing unboxings. I don't have the graphics. I don't want to mess with it. I'm sorry.
Oh man,
Great unboxings this month, though.
you got some catching up to do.
Great unboxings this month, though. Oh man, Pro Wrestling Crate killed it.
Nice.
I'll tell you next day.
I'm hoping to do that too someday. All right, so we think the Strong Hearts are going to win there. Seaman and his boys. Next, we got the triple threat Dr. Britt Baker
Yeah,
versus Nyla Rose versus Kylie Ray.
Miley Cyrus.
This is going to be quite the historical match. Just that AEW is taking a chances on people like Sonny Kiss, Nyla Rose,
Yep.
giving them a chance to shine and not putting them on the back burner like WWE has done with their, their LG. I always screw it up.
LGBTQIA.
Thank you. Yeah, what he said.
They've added a few letters over the past couple months.
There you go. Yeah, giving Nyla Rose a chance to shine on here with Britt Baker and Kylie Ray, all strong from the indies. Britt Baker, I think, being the most significant name just because she is the better half to one Adam Rose, who's in NXT.
Adam Cole.
Adam Cole. Did I say Adam Rose? Dear God.
Who retired, by the way.
Yes, he just had his last match or is about to have his last match, something. Wow, I really screwed that up.
Bye-bye, Leo Kruger.
Oh, Leo Kruger. I loved Leo Kruger back in the day. That goes back like 7 years. Holy crap. Where the company has gone since then. Wow. Yeah, I miss that guy.
Hell in a handbasket.
Right? Yeah, sometimes, yeah. So, Britt Baker, Nyla Rose, Kylie Ray.
You want my opinion or you want to go first? I went first on the last one, so you can go if you want.
Gosh, it's so tough just because these are still fresh faces to so many people, and I can't be like, oh, well, this person stands out the most. They're all gonna kill it. You know what? I'm gonna pick Nyla Rose.
I am going to disagree with that decision.
That's fine. That's fine. I mean, we've been pretty the same thus far. So
the reason I'm disagreeing is because I think as it stands right now, and Sting, I do agree with you. I just don't think this event, Tenille Dashwood will be a part of AEW. There's a reason she hasn't showed back up on ROH or Impact. I think she was the random mystery phone call of Brandy asking for help against Allie. So I don't think part of this event. This event will be all about establishing Britt Baker as a top star. If you go back to All In, there were 4 females in that ring. Chelsea Green signed with NXT.
Yeah.
Tessa Blanchard stayed with Impact. Madison Rayne went to ROH, and Britt Baker went to AEW. She was the only female featured at All In. She will be the winner of the female triple threat.
She was also at the upfront when they announced the TNT thing.
She's their top star right now. Britt Baker will be. Welcome to Britsburg, everybody.
Britsburg.
Because she's from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Welcome to Britsburg. Britt Baker, Adam Cole's girlfriend, will be the face of the women's division for AEW until someone bigger like a Mercedes CV or Tenille Dashwood comes along.
Or Sasha Banks.
Yeah, Mercedes CV is Sasha Banks. I'm going by her name that she'd have to use if she left WWE.
Oh, I did not know who that was.
Yeah, her name is Mercedes. When she wrestled on the Indies briefly before she got signed by WWE, her name was Mercedes
TV. Okay. All right. I'm like, who the hell is Mercedes? Okay. Thank you for clearing that up.
You're welcome.
Oh man. All right. Brother versus brother. We've got Cody versus Dustin.
This one tugs at the heartstrings a little bit.
It's a great story that
Fantastic.
never got a chance to shine. They had a match in WWE, towards the latter part of Cody's career there, but it was throwaway from what I remember.
It was definitely throwaway. Hi, everybody. This is Bailey. So hi, Bailey.
Oh, the puppy dog.
They did have a quite unmemorable match, unfortunately, and it's sad because Dream was there at the time, and they could have done so much more with it. They basically created this feud where it was like Dream was upset with Cody for going crazy on Dustin and blah 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 blah, and he went nuts as the Stardust character. And Cody owns everything. I mean, I am the biggest. Cody Rhodes is my favorite wrestler. If you've watched my channel, you know that. It's not because he's the best in the ring. He's not. He's good in the ring. He's adequate. But he's cut one of the best promos leading up to this that I've heard in a long time. Right?
Yeah. I think both guys have, but yeah.
But I think there was right? So Dustin's was deeply personal. Dustin's was, I don't know what my brother has against me. I don't know why my brother's attacking me, but if he wants to attack me, then let him bring it, and I'm going to have to teach him a lesson, right? That's the whole gist of Dustin's. I'm like this old horse that isn't ready to go down for his last ride yet, right? I'm not ready to be turned into glue just yet.
Right.
Then Cody shows up, black screen, blue suit, sitting in a stool, hands on his cane, and literally delivers one of the best one of the best promos I've heard since CM Punk's pipe bomb. Yeah. And it wasn't just directed at Dustin. And he basically is using Dustin as a symbol for the Attitude Era, saying that this era of wrestling sucks, but the Attitude Era was great. And he's turning this in, what he used the Cain and Abel analogy, not the Cain and Abel analogy, the prodigal son analogy, right?
Yeah.
Goes, I love when he sits there and he looks at the camera. He goes, I know which brother I am. I've told my story enough times to know which brother I am. I'm good with that, right? The way he delivered it was so seamless. And then he starts comparing the generations, Rock versus Punk. There was a couple of other analogies he used in there too. And then he goes, I love my brother, but I'm not here to kill him. I'm here to kill the Attitude Era. Beautiful. Even his belt, and Cody's great with this. The Hollywood Hogan weight belt he wears,
yeah.
I've seen it. It's gold, and it says Attitude Killer on it, right? He is making it about killing the Attitude Era. And I love every single bit of it. MJF is not good with a sword. If you've seen Being the Elite, he was not quite successful in killing the Attitude Era. But that was ridiculous. Oh, you're Dustin, right? No, I'm not MJF. I'm here for Zelda convention. But
Zelda convention's down the block.
Dustin's played this very well too. I bought that shirt, by the way, the One Last Ride. You're probably not surprised. But I've loved Dustin for a long time. He is a fantastic worker. He got better as he got older. Look, my honest opinion here as a fan of the Rhodes family, I'm not even saying this to I care who the winner is. To me, this match is about Cody retiring his brother. I think Dustin wants to be done. I think Dustin is going to get a position in AEW behind the scenes as a, kind of Billy Gunn type producer type of role. I don't think he'll be wrestling much anymore, maybe randomly. And I think that Cody Rhodes is going to win this match.
Yeah. I'm going to disagree.
Okay.
I mean, I agree with everything you're saying, but as far as who's going to win this, I have wanted Goldust to shine for I don't know how many years now. One thing I take to heart is when people get clean.
Yep.
And stay clean and better themselves, especially when it comes to working in the ring. You look at guys like Kurt Angle, who cleaned his life up and had a couple decent years left, after his knee surgery and everything. And, I have seen a handful of people do that, better themselves, get in look at Mike Kanellis, got in insane shape. He's been sober for almost a year now. Goldust has been sober for 8 or 9 years, possibly 10. I forget exactly what year it is, but he's been sober for several years now, clean. His body is in the best shape. I mean, if you looked at some of his matches, especially the one that they did here in Milwaukee a year ago, his match against Cena, it was short, but it was sweet. It was really unique. I'm glad I was live for that one because that's one that I'm never going to forget. And it was so like out of the realm of, wow, what are they doing together in the ring? But it's something you don't forget, even though he just had double knee surgery, I think Goldust does have a couple rounds left in him. And this might be his last match. It might be. And if it is, I'm okay with that because I've seen the best of them. I've seen the worst of them,
So Jay, the thing to me is here, you have to look at this card as a launch pad, right?
Yeah.
Every match has to be, how does this further? Whoa, my blinds are like being trippy in the background. Simple. How does this forward the AEW narrative, right?
Yeah.
When you look at a guy like Goldust isn't winning the championship, although I don't think Cody's going to take the championship for a long time either because people will be like, oh, he's giving himself the belt. But what they need now is to establish credibility for the names that are on the roster, right? Now, they've got a couple of ways of doing that. One of them was Pac, who they can't use now.
Yeah.
One of them is Jericho. One of them is Goldust. These guys that have had national exposure. And yes, Cody has had national exposure. But the last taste that Cody had was Stardust. So for all these mainstream fans that are now tuning in to see what's going on, Cody putting Stardust to bed in an alarming fashion and establishing a little bit of his legacy of the Rhodes legacy or taking his piece of the Rhodes legacy, I think that sets them up much better as a company, AEW, than a random Dustin win over Cody.
That's true. That's true. I completely get that. And I honestly believe that it's probably going to happen. I still want to see that old horse get one last win.
Oh, look, I love him. I listen, I hope he stays around for a year after losing and then, gets a run with like a mid-card belt for a little while for his brother's promotion. It'd be cool as hell. But, Dustin Rhodes is going to go down to me as one of the, best character workers of all time.
Oh, yeah. The guy gets it. Yeah.
I mean, and I think having him in the AEW locker room just provides a whole depth of knowledge to these young kids. And I think that's where the real value in getting Goldust was.
It is certainly to have that next generation show you, be an example of what not to do. He can, be like, hey, I screwed up a lot of my career with drugs and alcohol, and that's not to say that, the younger generation isn't going to go out for a few drinks or whatever, or smoke a little weed or whatever, but you could certainly tell some stories, tell and give some lessons. Aaron Jack, I've been reading this in the chat, and I want to just quick address this. This is, what's your guys' take of a possible AEW Impact Wrestling partnership in the future? I've touched on this a little bit before. I think it certainly is possible, but they've already announced the AAA and the OWE as far as international stuff. So I think that's what they're more leaning towards as far as growing this brand internationally. Do I think it's possible? Yeah. Do I think it's going to happen anytime in the near future? No. I think if they were going to, they would have done it right away.
I think, and Jay, I agree with you. I think there's certain talents within Impact they're interested in. Like, I think they would absolutely go crazy to have Tessa Blanchard.
Oh, yeah.
I think they'd love to have their hands on Brian Cage and Sammy Callahan and OVE. And look, maybe it eventually comes to that. But first, they need to see where they sit with their own stars
Yeah.
and the people that they're developing and give those guys time to develop. And then once they've given that time to develop, then you can start to inject people one at a time and see how that works.
Yeah. Andre Corbeil's in the chat. He says, I would almost bet that there will not be a partnership with Impact. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. It's certainly a possibility of not happening.
Would you go double or nothing on that bet? There's the real question. Sorry, I had to.
Hey, and down the line there could be an invasion of sorts. Who knows? You know, and that could work too, and that could benefit both.
With New Japan and ROH too. I mean, the elephant in the room here is that Omega and Jericho have both said that they're still going to wrestle in New Japan. So there's definitely a lot of opportunities for cross promotion. Omega has flat out said nothing is off the table. We're willing. We would work with WWE. It's them that probably won't want to work with us. So as the roster starts to develop, they've got 3 events on the books right now.
Yeah.
I think they're going to get through Fyter Fest. They're going to get through Fight for the Fallen. I think by the time we get to All In 2, which will be September, October in your neck of the woods, my friend.
Shut-town.
By the time we get to one of those events, we'll have a better idea of what their roster looks like. And then it can be, how do we start, swapping talent and things like that.
Yeah, true. So, all right, back to the card. Glad you all tuned in, though. Much love. Appreciate it. We got another women's match. Certainly is going to be a fun one. I can't say I know anything about this ladies, but I know that they wouldn't have brought them in if they weren't something special. So here's my crack at these names. I said it once before, and here's my second crack at it. Here we go. Aja Kong.
Okay, that one's good.
Yuka Sakazaki.
I like it. Did it well.
And Emi Sakura. That's the one team, the 3, against, sweating here, Hikaru Shida.
Okay.
And then Riho. And then, or Ryo, one of the 2. And then Ryo Mizunami. Hey!
Well, I'm gonna be 100% real with you. I know whichever team Aja Kong is on are the heels, and the other team's the faces. I don't know anything about any of the participants in this match. I'm just gonna go with the faces. Yay!
I'm gonna go with the heels. Boo! Just for the sake of picking something different. But I'm excited because I know these ladies from over in Asia kick ass. I've seen clips from Stardom, the women working with Bea Priestley, Toni Storm, and Viper was over there for a time in Stardom. I don't know how many companies there are. I know there's Stardom, and I know there's like a couple others, I think. I'm not super...
Not too big into that either.
Yeah.
Stardom. Look, it's going to be interesting because they're bringing in a couple of big states names, and then it's like they're backfilling with Asia, which is what they originally did with OWE also.
Yeah.
So it's going to be good. Like I said, guys, I wish I could lend more context to this, but I'm one of those people who will tell you I 100% don't know something, and outside of Aja Kong has some pretty dope face paint. That's about all I know. We've got a lot going on in the chat here, Jay.
Just responding to one right now. Will do, Andre.
Okay, so where did we go? So, Jay, let's answer these real quick. You got Blood Rain right here. What's up, Blood Rain? I remember you, buddy. How you doing? It says
Demon Rocks. What's up? All right, so we've got the best friends, Chucky T and Trent Beretta versus. This is probably going to be one of my most exciting tag teams joining this brand. I have been waiting for this tag team to shine again. Angelico and Jack Evans. I have not seen these guys. Well, Jack Evans was in the Mexican tapings of Impact for a cup of coffee not too long ago. But I have not seen Angelico since Lucha Underground. He's been spending all of his time over in Europe, training others, honing his craft. And the fact that these two are back together and on a big stage. Oh my God. I was just about when I saw the promo of Angelico and his bike and he's walking around Europe.
Really, really well done promo too. That was really well done.
It was. He's like, yeah, I know who you are. That was priceless because you know how egotistical Jack Evans is.
But they'd set it up like he was going to quit. You know, like they were like, you know, you're thinking about hanging this up. Like they'd set it up like he was like talking about like, is it over for him? And then all of a sudden they made it like, nope, we're going to go do this now. You know, it was pretty good. Yeah. I hate to burst the bubble on this one though. Trent and Chucky are taking this one.
Ooh. See, I'm actually going to go the other direction on this one. I'm going to go with Angelico and Jack Evans.
I think from a perspective of putting the talent over, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Trent wrestled in WWE. I don't think most people remember that at this point. So that's really not a saving grace. But remember, if we're talking about who they think the bigger star power here is, I'm not talking about Chucky T. I am talking about Trent Barreto, who was ripped away from New Japan as they were about to give him a massive bump. So based on the level of star power upon signing versus the match, I think it's going to be a great match. I think your winner will be the Best Friends.
Okay. I just adjusted the volume because someone in the chat said the sound is low. Is this better now to the people in the chat? Does it sound? Because I just noticed that I had to go a different route of doing this with the Google Hangouts to invite Charlie in here. So I used the old school way, and I didn't realize the volume was like all the way down. Can you guys hear me okay? Someone
can try to plug headphones in too.
Well, because I can hear you fine, but I don't know how they can hear us.
Yep, these don't work, so never mind that.
Okay. All right, well, I'll keep going. Let me know in the chat, because I just adjusted the control room settings here. I didn't realize the volume was... Sound is good? Okay, thanks, Aaron Jack. Appreciate it. I apologize if the sound was so low before. I did not realize it was. Like I said, I'm using this different way of... Critical Sting says, sounds been good for me the whole time. All right, well, whatever. All right, so back to the card. But yeah, super stoked for, like I said, dude, this tag division is just it's possibly gonna be the best thing about this brand. Really.
I mean, literally, when you have a company where the first two people that sign on the dotted line are the greatest tag team alive right now, I would assume that that's where it's got to be. You know what I mean?
Or are they?
Oh, they are.
Because they've got some significant people that they're going up against in this next match that we're going to talk about.
That's a great segue right there.
We've got the AAA Tag Team Championships on the line, held by, I didn't write that down in my notes, held by none other than the Young Bucks, which came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like an RKO. Oh, sorry. In AAA a couple months ago, and shocked the Lucha Bros, who I didn't even realize were the tag team champions. I don't watch a lot of AAA. I try to catch some of their bigger events like Triple Mania and a couple others throughout the year. I just don't watch it on a regular basis. But I know it is free in America on Twitch. Just like Impact. So we got the Young Bucks defending the championships against the Lucha Bros. I don't know if this is going to be the main event or if Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho is going to be the main event. Chris Jericho has said that his match will be the main event. What do you think?
So the reason that the Bucks headlined All In was because no one on the card wanted to go after the Bucks. That's legitimately the reason no one wanted to follow a match with the Young Bucks. And ROH, if you watch, most of the time, the Young Bucks closed the show as well because no one felt that they felt that all the energy would be drained out of the room after watching the Young Bucks, which is true. So I think they could close the show. However, if anyone could be ballsy enough to say, I don't care who I'm going in front of behind, it's Chris Jericho.
This is true.
So, I mean, literally, if Jericho says he's going on last, fine. Jericho's probably going on last. And don't forget, if he wins, AEW owes him a thank you.
This is true. The whole company owes him a thank you. They all got to get down on their hands and knees. And
in a sense, they kind of do. But I mean, they're paying him more than he's ever made in his life and letting him tour with Fozzy while he works one day a week. I mean, give me a break.
Not bad.
So you're going to be surprised with my answer on who I think is going to win here. 150% the Lucha Bros are going over at Double or Nothing.
No, because I'm not. Because I was actually going to say the same thing. I think the Lucha Bros are going to take the championships back down to AAA, but it's a great way to include the partnership.
Yep.
And who knows? I mean, there could be. They got the partnership with AAA. There could be. I talked a little bit before about the possibility of the Impact invasion somewhere down the road if there is a partnership. They have a partnership with AAA. There could be a run-in somewhere during this event from AAA to help the Lucha Bros get those belts back.
150%. And at the same time, just, I mean, laying it all on the table, if let's just argument's sake say Cody wins and Kenny wins and the Bucks win, it creates the perception that AEW created a company where they're just going to keep putting themselves over. So I don't expect all of the members of the Elite to win. I think Cody has a good shot. I think Kenny has a good shot. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. Yeah. But I think the Bucks are going to set the example, and I think Hangman will probably lose as well if he does wrestle.
Aaron Jack in the chat says, I think we all know Double or Nothing will have a much better ending to their show than Game of Thrones did. I'm hearing a lot about this last episode of Game of Thrones. I'm not a Game of Thrones guy. I am so sorry. I stopped watching it after season 2 because it just got crazy with 10 million families all going for the throne, and I couldn't keep track anymore.
I never watched an episode of it. I feel like I'm very behind the 8 ball.
It's a good series for what I watched of it, but it was, it just between season 1 and season 2 got insanely crazy, and then season 3 was like, so, very well done. Just, I'm sure I'll watch it at some point. It just, I just lost interest like we do other things. So whatever. But yes, I have heard about that infamous last episode, that fans are trying to get the company to rewrite it and redo it. It's like, shut up. You watched it. They made it. They already made their money. Okay. So you and I agree that the Lucha Bros are probably going to take the belts back. I'm not going to go above and beyond and say, oh, someone's going to help them. I try not to think too much like that, but I think it's certainly a possibility. Yep. Now on to what I think is probably going to be the main event, but either way,
either way, it's a solid main event.
Not going to complain whoever goes over as far as the who ends up in the main event. Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho, part 2. Your thoughts, dude?
There's one of two outcomes here. All right. So the booker and the guy that wants to be a booker inside of me says that the logical answer here is to have Kenny Omega go over Chris Jericho. The reason being, you have all of these new eyeballs tuning into the product who know who Chris Jericho is, but doesn't know who Kenny Omega is. So if Kenny Omega beats Chris Jericho, then Chris Jericho made Kenny Omega on a national stage. So that's the logic behind it. The other piece of it is, though, they did have this battle in Japan. In this battle in Japan,
Kenny
Omega
won.
So are they setting up the trilogy? The T-shirts, I've seen them already. The T-shirts say, it's not like they're ignoring the past. It says Omega Jericho too.
Yeah.
So is this a 3-part series? Will we be seeing, Kenny somehow loses here by a cheat from Jericho, and then Kenny beats him in the next one and takes the series? I don't know which one of those two outcomes it will be. I think both make sense, but I think from if it was me booking the show, I'd put Kenny over Jericho on it.
I'm actually gonna go with the more typical way of thinking, as in this is the rubber match, so you got to have the other guy win. I'm gonna go with Chris Jericho here, and I think there's gonna be I'm not saying it's guaranteed. They may play it safe and not do any big run-in or whatever. Who knows? We'll talk about that in a second. I want to discuss it a little bit. But I think just for the sake of, because Kenny did win in Japan, I think Chris Jericho is going to win here. It's going to be crazy. It's going to set the standard one more time, as far as workers in the company. And there are going to be there's going to be different levels. There's going to be like your cruiserweight lucha libre guys. There's going to be your hardcore, and then there's going to be your standout bunch. And I think these two are certainly going to be part of it. And I honestly, if the discussion comes in during the pay-per-view of a championship, you could honestly put it on either of these guys and not go wrong, honestly. Because they're both, it's not like Chris Jericho's doing this one and done. He's signed a multi-year contract as far as I know.
3-year deals. All the deals with AEW are 3 years.
3 years. Okay. They're all unique, though, because they did separate contracts for almost everyone because they tried to keep it so it fits in with their lifestyle, their independent bookings, and all that kind of stuff.
No, so that's the one thing about AEW is they're being incredibly fair to all of their employees.
Oh, yeah.
The equal pay for men and women, the non-discrimination, they're basically taking everything that they wanted changed from the places that they were working, and they're rolling that into their company.
Critical Sting says this is still Chris Jericho or Clockwork Orange Jericho, right? It could be. I mean, this promos he's cutting against Cody are just plain, but who knows?
I don't think it's going to be Clockwork Jericho. The one thing I've learned about Chris Jericho over the course of his career is that he likes to constantly reinvent himself. As a matter of fact, I think he was comparing himself to some band. I forget which band it was with the constant maybe Kiss. I don't know. With the constant reinvention. And he likes to have different looks for different phases, right?
Could be, yeah.
I think you're going to be looking at maybe some variation of the Clockwork Jericho, but I think there's going to be something significantly different about it.
Yeah, because he just cut a promo on Okada, too.
And there you'll probably see Clockwork Jericho.
Yeah.
I know that sounds funny, but I think in Japan you'll probably still see Clockwork Jericho.
Yeah, he's gonna do something off the wall. Cuckoo.
By the way, if you haven't seen it yet, Jay, I could send it to you. You could share it on Twitter. AEW will be launching 10 new T-shirts at MGM and StarCast. Thanks, guys, Pro Wrestling Tees, for doing it to me as I'm moving. I probably will not be buying any from this. Just throwing this out there. They will be dropping 10 new T-shirts. Jericho's is fantastic. Him and Omega are the must-owns of the batch. And sorry, my wife was nice enough to get me my phone charger. Well, hello, sir. Enter Bam Bam. So
Charlie Jr.
He's watching. So the Jericho shirt's amazing. It looks like an album cover to an old 90s, 80s rock album.
Nice.
I highly suggest checking them out. There is a 20% off sale for this through the 27th. That's my plug for our friend Ryan Barkin.
There you go. There you go. Cheap plug. All right, so you think Kenny's going to win. I think Chris is going to win. Let's talk about possibilities of surprises just for a little bit before we wrap this up. I just want to thank you again for doing this. I think this is...
Oh, no, it's absolutely... He fell asleep at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, so he's just like, whoa, it's morning. No, it's not.
It's time to go back to bed.
Yep. I'll get him up later. Don't worry about it. He can hang out here. He's being good.
There you go. There you go. I think the biggest name people talk about, but apparently he's got some other booking close to, but a little too far away to possibly show up, is CM Punk.
Yeah. Look, Chris Jericho is the master of deception, and if anything, he would teach these guys that master. I think ironically, I'm calling it the Pro Wrestling Tees effect. Every single time someone opens up a Pro Wrestling Tees store, they're linked to AEW at that point, right? Because they are like the T-shirt company.
Yeah.
So you have Hager. When we talked about this earlier, you have Hager, you have Moxley, you have Punk. I think Moxley and I think all three of them bring something different.
Yeah.
I think Hager brings some credibility, bringing the MMA world. I think you put a Bellator fighter in the ring, a guy who's been a champion at WWE, lends a little bit of credibility. I think Moxley is like the score of now, and let me explain what the heck that actually means. Moxley's the score of now because they actually stole one of Vince's boys, right? That's not some guy that was sitting on the sidelines like Hager, or even to an extent the guy that's been out of it a little bit like Punk. We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
The guy who's been out of it. That's the guy who's like, that's the knife in Vince's side. They just let this guy ride out the door, and they were not happy about it, right? It would be as if all of a sudden Charlotte decided she was leaving. They gave her a, trumpet and exit, and then she signed with AEW. That, believe it or not, if AEW can make Jon Moxley a bigger star, which they will because they'll let him loose, a bigger star than WWE did as Dean Ambrose, Vince will take that personal. So in terms of the now, Moxley's the win. Punk is a different animal altogether.
Yeah.
Punk started this all. And I know people will look at me and be like, how is that possible, right? Punk's pipe bomb spread awareness to the indies. The indies became a viable place because of Punk's pipe bomb. Because of that, Cody Rhodes bet on himself and went to the indies, right?
Yeah. It's a chain of events.
It is the chain of events. Punk going to AEW gives AEW something bigger than Moxley can even provide. Yes, Moxley provides them with a day-to-day face of the company. But Punk provides them with a revolution. I know that sounds crazy because they already kind of are a revolution.
Yeah.
He's the voice of the voiceless. He's an anarchist. You give that guy a microphone and you let him loose on TNT, and you watch how quickly the ratings go. I mean, to me, that's it. To me, the biggest win is Punk.
Yeah.
Moxley can be the face of the company, absolutely. And Hager just gives some credibility. So what do you guys think? You agree?
I absolutely agree. I think as time goes on, I think the chances of Punk showing up. I mean, do I still want him to show up? Absolutely. But do I think the chances are slowly diminishing since he did not take part in anything else, especially All In, even though he was, hop, skip, and a jump away.
He said they didn't make him an offer. And in fairness, if you think about it, there's two things here, Jay. One, if they didn't make him an offer, how expensive would CM Punk have been for an appearance?
In all reality, he could have asked just a ridiculous amount of money. But on the other hand, Punk could have been like, you know what? I love this concept so much, I'm going to fucking do it for free. He could have done something like that.
He just because, you're talking about a guy who you have to like lukewarm back into the idea of wrestling.
Yeah.
Like he likes showing up on masks and GTSing people. He'll do that for free, but he's not going to do something where they're making money off of it for free.
Yeah, he showed up 10 minutes from here and GTS somebody at an indie event, and it was like,
I know, but I think his itch is there. I think now that there's a solid alternative to WWE, he would love to be the guy that helps put Vince McMahon on his toes. And if he really wants to do it, there's a certain person that he sleeps next to every night that he could turn to and be like, hey, come be the face of the women's division. Because if AEW could do a double score of CM Punk and AJ Lee at the same time, game over.
Yeah, especially if AJ Lee has her mental health issues in check. I mean, and I know that's a lifelong struggle, but that is something that she does talk about a lot.
Have you been watching? So people don't give enough credit where credit is due to the actual person that revolutionized the business. Yes, the Four Horsemen are wonderful. They're great. They're great in the ring. But really, the two wrestlers that changed the perception of women's wrestling were Paige and AJ Lee.
Oh, I believe that. Absolutely. Yeah, they certainly turned heads and said, oh, this is not the typical, 6 foot tall, blonde, big boob, whatever, that we've seen on their TV for how many years over the course of the Attitude Era and the oh God, I always think of the Ruthless Aggression. I can never think of it. The Ruthless Aggression era. Yeah, I would love to see AJ Lee back. I don't have any clue what kind of shape she's in, but she could certainly be a presence, in the women's division and help run it or whatever. She could be the Gail Kim of Impact to AEW,
There's an interesting thing in the chat here, Jay. I want to answer this question for critical thing. He says, would you compare AEW getting Moxley to TNA getting Kurt Angle? My answer is absolutely not. And I'll tell you why. At the point that TNA got Kurt Angle had gone through a lot in his life. And while he was already an amazing star and he did some great work in TNA, his best work was in those years in the Attitude Era with WWE. If you are to get Moxley right now, you are taking him off of the height of his popularity with the Shield because WWE stupidly actually let him ride out under the Shield banner, right?
Yeah.
So you're taking him out after a network special celebrating the man and putting him in an environment where he's going to find his most success, right? The hardcore icon, Jon Moxley. This would be bigger. This would be the equivalent of, let's say, ROH landing Cody, right? On a smaller scale because Cody wasn't big, but he was the big fish in the pond. Yeah. Right now, the big fish in the pond that's an active wrestler is Jon Moxley.
Yeah. I think, I would say yes. In some ways, I would say yes that it does compare to that, but I understand what you're saying. But yeah, it's
timing, really.
It's got that Luger effect in a sense,
It's like, okay, so I like baseball, so I'll compare it to baseball, right?
There you go.
It'd be like right now the Yankees just got not the Yankees, the Phillies just got Bryce Harper at 28 years old.
Okay.
Fantastic player, dead in his prime. The Mets just got Robinson Cano at 35 years old. Both stellar players. Harper's got more years ahead of him than Cano. Cano maybe has a couple of years left in the tank, can help build some things, move them along, not run out baseballs, apparently. And Harper can mash home runs for the next 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. So just long term, I think it's a bigger and better signing for them to sign Moxley.
There you go. Just one last quick look at the chat here. See a few new names in here. That's great to see. Welcome to the show.
We got a Crazy Biggin. What up, Crazy Biggin?
Yeah, he's a new sub. Welcome. Oh, my surprise. Page versus Moxley. That one. Oh, yeah. There's that their concept of the open challenge. If Moxley shows up to something like that, wins and Pac appears and beats up Moxley. Oh, jeez. That's woof. You are seriously fantasy booking this. I like it, but that's crazy.
So many layers to that. Wow.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how the hell you picked that all apart. Hager will turn up in the Battle Royal and Pac will appear and attack Moxley after the fight. Punk will appear in the first live TV show on TNT. That's another possibility, but we got time. We got a few months down the line to talk about that. Yeah. It all depends on what happens at the pay-per-view over the next few months.
I agree that Punk will definitely be there by the first TV show, but I think that if I'm Tony Khan's first interested the talent Tony Khan wanted first, before even he wanted Cody and the Young Bucks, he's on the record as saying he wanted Punk. Punk on the road to the pay-per-view, to the TV show as an ambassador is worth even more than him just showing up on the TV show. I'm all about surprises, right? But when you're having your first episode, how many surprises you're going to throw out there on your first episode? Whereas if you have CM Punk from now until whenever those first episodes airing saying, I'm with AEW, appearing on, the things he wanted to do for WWE, but they wouldn't let him, appearing on The Tonight Show, appearing on all these places as a face of the company, that makes a big impact for AEW.
Yeah. Yeah, this can go so many different ways and we could talk about it all night, but we are going to wrap this up. Dude, thanks again so much, Charlie. From the 2 Count, plug your stuff, dude.
Oh, my pleasure. So awesome to be here, J-Bone. Anytime, shoot me that DM. You now can message me on Facebook, too. Jay found me earlier. Look, guys, I said it earlier. In case you missed it, as you can tell, Dad, 2 little guys. He's still hiding behind me. Wait. I got a little guy. I got a little girl. Been really busy with work. As a matter of fact, I got a couple messages from my boss on my phone. No.
I want to take you away from that.
So I got promoted at work. Got a new house. Moving July 1st, July 10th. Back on the air. The 2 Count. Until then, J-Bone. Anytime you want to have me, I am here. Please, if you aren't already subscribed to the 2 Count, though, head over there. Steal a line from J-Bone right here. Smash that notification button. And subscribe to the 2 Count.
Oh, he stole my line. No, that's okay.
Robbery.
Highway robbery. Yes, folks, please don't forget to smash that like button, smash that sub button, and ring that bell for notifications so that you know when more of my content hits your screen. Good night, folks. Can't wait till this weekend. Double or Nothing's going to kick ass.
Yeah.
If you're watching this after the facts, folks, please put your comments in, your thoughts in the comments. Oh my God! See, this is when I don't, drink beer during these, and I even. But yeah, leave your thoughts about surprises, who's gonna win, who's gonna lose, whatever. And for those new who do want to support the show, legit support the show, consider buying a t-shirt. Brand new Smash This Podcast t-shirt. Link is in the description. It's a throwback to someone who we think is going to show up at the brand new first showing of AEW Double or Nothing, a throwback to an old Moxley shirt. Go check it out. What's that?
I had the hands like this. I thought you were going Punk on me. I haven't seen.
But that's a good idea for another shirt. I'm trying to, think of stuff that the hamsters are turning upstairs because they're old and crippled like me. So thank you, Crazy Biggin. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow night. We're gonna check out that brand new series on Viceland called The Wrestlers, all about the indie scene. 10-part series from what I heard. Can't wait to dive into that. And we'll be reviewing that tomorrow night. If all things go well, and then we've got Impact and then Double or Nothing this weekend. So loaded week.
And follow me on either Twitter or Facebook Twitter or Instagram. I tend to get quite angry and mean tweet at the show, but I anticipate none of that during Double or Nothing. Usually WWE, that's reserved for. But would love to have you guys on that combo too. So Jay will wind up retweeting something I say. Just look out for it, and we'll connect that too.
There you go. There you go. But thanks again, man. We're gonna get out of here. Have a great night and take care. Much love, all.
Good brother.